So what did football teach you? We sort of danced around all these lessons, but can you crystallize some of these things that you learned that would serve you well in other
Well,
areas of your life?
I think as fun and as gratifying as football was, there is a certain level of pain, either physical or mental. You don't win all your games. Learning to accept the loss is hard to do. What
Wait,
type of
people watching or listening may not know the extent of times that you had concussions. I mean, you and Steve Young both were these victims of, before the rules were changed, you got rocked several times. And it's serious. It's a serious injury.
Yeah, well, then no one thought it was. It was just your bell got rung, you go back in the game 10, 15 minutes later after the fog had cleared. But we now know that that's not the case. The fog never clears. But, mentally and physically, it takes its toll on you. And at times, maybe mentally, if you go through a 3 or 4 game stretch where you either lose or pull one out at the last second, as emotional of a high as that is, it's also emotionally draining. Mm-hmm. And learning to deal with adversity, which goes hand in hand with winning and losing. Learning to handle wins or success is just as hard as learning to handle the lows.
Let's talk about the lows for a second, and then I also want to talk about the highs, because you did win a Super Bowl at Green Bay, and it was the second win since Super Bowl number 2, right? So you were probably
so it was a long time
hometown hero, but I want to talk about the hard times. So, and I'm asking this in context because I know a lot of people, they struggle with this. They have a loss, or they have, they get their bell rung metaphorically,
Mm-hmm.
They have a bad day, whatever it is, a bad month, a bad year. What were some of your coping mechanisms? How did you get through that? Did you have a mental coach? Did you have a psychologist?
Early in my career, and people who follow my career are well aware of it. The younger generation probably isn't. But we won the Super Bowl in '96, and that was my 5th year. I think it was my 5th year.
Not bad.
Not bad. But at the time, I was a drinker, and I was also I wouldn't have admitted it at the time. Because I had won 3 MVPs while in the middle of this addictive life that I was living. I'd gotten addicted to Vicodin.
Yeah, painkillers, basically.
Yeah. Harmlessly, I got addicted, but regardless, I took a couple after a game, liked the feeling. The next time I got hurt, didn't really warrant a pain pill, but I thought, I'm going to take some more. And before I knew it, I was taking 15 Vicodin ES at one time.
Wow.
I didn't drink every day, but when I drank, again, at the time, I would have said, I don't have a drinking problem. I don't drink every day. Stupid statement. It's what I did when I drank. I never drank one beer, went home. I would drink till I couldn't drink anymore. Mm-hmm. And so early on, I coped through alcohol, pain pills, and I was deceived, I guess, by the results. I thought I'd won 3 MVPs, 95, 6, and 7. And that was right in the height of my pain pill addiction. I was taking 15 Vicodin ES every night. And eventually it led to 2 seizures. One during the season, one right after the season in the hospital after routine ankle surgery. Mm-hmm. And that one really kind of opened up the door for there's a problem.
That was a wake-up call, right?
Yeah, and so I was in rehab 3 different times, never took a pain pill after the 3rd time, and quit drinking after that in '98, and haven't taken either since. But that's how I coped early. As I got older, my wife was great to lean on and just listen to, the frustrations. And I'll say this, Mike Holmgren, before he left to go to Seattle, we had many good conversations, but one in particular. And he said, "You're going to have a long career." And at the time, I was up to year 6. And he said, "You're going to have a long career." He said, "But I just want to forewarn you of something that you're going to face as you get up in years." He said, "You're going to look at things, plays, games, seasons, much like a coach will, as you gravitate into 10, 15, maybe even more years." And I thought, kind of under my breath, I rolled my eyes like, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Look at it like a coach. Like,
well, he said, "I'll give you an example." He said, "You can go 15-1, and all you think about after that season is the one loss, not the 15 wins.
I see.
The 15 wins are not enough."
I see.
And say you win the Super Bowl, great feeling. By the time you wake up the next morning, all you can think about is we have to win another one, and or you worry about things that you can't control. And that one was really the one that kind of hit me in the face. All of his examples I found to be true. After a game, a good game, maybe I had great statistics. I thought and dwelled on what I could have done better rather than saying, I'm going to accept this as it is. I played well. I did what I could do, and so be it. That was the easy way out. I couldn't do that. And I worried a lot in the latter part of my career about what other guys were doing or not doing. Would they be ready for the game? Would they study? Would they prepare? And
your teammates, you're talking
teammates,
about.
Yeah. Things, again, I could not control. The only thing I could control was what I did, and that was hard to do in itself. Better yet, worrying about what everyone else did. And so he was absolutely right.
That's great advice. Let me just unpack that a little bit. Probably like the rest of the world, while we've been on lockdown here, I watched that Michael Jordan documentary, and I had no idea. I knew he was a competitor. Did you watch that doc?
I watched maybe an episode.
Yeah.
And I liked it.
Yeah, well, the thing that struck me is kind of what you just said, which is Michael got to a point where he wanted to win so badly that he became...
Anything less was even a win, but he don't play well.
Yeah.
It's never enough.
Right, but what struck me is kind of what you just said. He did take it upon himself to be the taskmaster, and he didn't care if people hated him or not. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm not someone who could do that. I like people to like me. It's hard, tough love is one thing, but in that doc, the one thing that came through is that Michael was a jerk in order to be a champion. And I can think of other business people like that, people like Steve Jobs, who have a really bad reputation just for being an a-hole, yet he was at the top of the game. So I'm not sure how I feel about, well, I am sure how I feel about that. Personally, I don't think I could compromise, my values to insult or to, whip my teammates into shape. I don't think I have it in me to do that. It's a tough thing to do, and you're right. Just managing your own shiz, is hard enough.
Yeah.
Let alone trying to worry about all these other players and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Let's talk about success. What advice do you have about dealing with success, being a winner? Because you played, 16 seasons with Green Bay and 20 seasons all in, right?
Yeah.
That's
right.
Remarkable. I mean, and you got rocked, too. This is not the 2019 NFL season where there's
where if you blow on the quarterback, you get a penalty.
No, this is like you got body slammed and and people were coming after you, too. You had like a bounty on your head, too, I'm sure.
I think the more success I had, the more driven I became. And it's sort of what you're talking about with Michael Jordan. I think the one thing that all successful people have is obviously a drive, but maybe even overdrive for the super successful. And
Did it ever get the best of you?
in which way?
You know, like anyone,
Complacent
or too big of an ego that started getting in the way, or
no. I think there was probably a time where I thought I was invincible, but I don't think I think the best testament would be from teammates, and I've had some teammates come out and talk about how it was to play with me and how likable and fun.
yeah,
Even in my super prime, I made sure that I included everyone in the success, only because I should have, because that's the truth, not because I did it for people to like me. I probably walked around, thinking I was hot stuff, but I don't know if many people would have picked up on that. I hope not.
I mean, we were just sitting back, chopping it up, reminiscing about the good old days and all that. Tracking my roots, where I came from and where I'm going.
I made videotapes that didn't work, books that didn't work. My lesson was, if I fail more than you do, I win. Because built into that lesson is this notion that you get to keep playing. If you get to keep playing, that means you get to keep failing, and sooner or later, you're going to make it succeed. The people who lose are either the ones who don't fail at all and get stuck, or the ones who fail so big they don't get to play again.
I'm going to flip the switch on you. Like, it's how I kind of think about this show. I've been watching from afar and impressed with your grind. You're hustling, right? You're pounding and you're pounding. And look, I was there 2 years every day of Wine Library TV, not selling more wine, investing. And, and that's what it is. One gal at 2 o'clock in the morning that's at HBO is, surfing around and sees this interview and is like, that host's got it, and your life changes.
The way you pick the bad still gonna hurt you the worst. I never got the bask and the fruits of the labor, and I never got the cash from that dude from the label. I'm just thinking back.